Hello again, Falcons fans. J. Michael Moore here for AtlantaFalcons.com, answering some of your questions about the off-season. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can today. Thank you for voting on AtlantaFalcons.com for your question via Voices Heard. I was able to get about the first 10 printed off, so be sure in the future, vote for your questions, get your friends to vote for your questions, and I will go with the top-rated questions via the Voices Heard technology. It's a week before off-season programs start here in Flowery Branch. Next Monday, the 22nd, players will report voluntarily to go through the drills and the process of getting ready for the 2010 season. We've already been through a little free agency, hence Dante Robinson. I'm sure you heard about that guy. So we're going to ask a few questions here and get my take on what might be happening next for the Atlanta Falcons. First question, if not corner, outside linebacker, Sean Weatherspoon looks like a beast, a game changer. Do you think we go get him, maybe even best available no matter what side of the ball? C.J. Spiller or Golden Tate, what do you think? This user's obviously talking about the NFL draft. I think it is going to be another best available type year for the Atlanta Falcons moving forward. Sean Weatherspoon, who's reported today, March 15th, that he had scheduled a visit here with the Atlanta Falcons. That has not been confirmed. The team won't announce visits moving forward, so anything you read there will be speculation or reported from another media outlet. So best available certainly makes sense. Again, getting Dante Robinson in free agency shores up corner a little bit. You'll have Sean Weatherspoon, a guy who will probably be there at number 19, a thumping linebacker. Fits the Falcons scheme pretty good, and that could be considered a position of need as Thomas Dimitroff and Mike Smith continue to retool the defense. But you note C.J. Spiller, Golden Tate. This could also be a draft where, hey, if you're there at number 19, there's a guy you really like on the offensive side of the ball, go ahead and take a chance, especially since you probably will have some compensatory picks later in the draft that you can take and backfill some of your roster. Good question. Now, along those lines, who are the Falcons going to draft first? Another good question I got a lot in this session, and to be honest, I don't know, and even if the guys upstairs knew yet, and again, they're still in the process of tooling the draft board, getting it ready, they're not going to tell. That place, the draft room, is kept under lock and key 365 days a year. So you can rest assured that the team will take and grade every single player available, trim that down even further to make sure it's the people, as Thomas Dimitroff says, fits the Falcons paradigm, guys who are fits with the organization both on and off the field, and then it's a matter of who's there at number 19. Next question, Robinson was a great pickup, but will struggle if the Falcons' pass rush doesn't improve quick. What are the plans or projected moves to get a veteran pass rusher? Julius Peppers wasn't the guy, but who is? I'll throw out there, maybe you don't need to get some new life in here. John Abraham, of course, had a down year in terms of sack production. Jamal Anderson on the other side has not been the guy in terms of sack production lots of fans would like. But let's throw this out there. Perret Jerry went down in week 2. Defensive tackle, penetrating defensive tackle, disrupts things. If there's one word that this defense wants to be, it's annoying, pestering. Make quarterbacks a little off their game. It's not all about pure bull rush or strength. It's about cutting through the line of scrimmage and just making all hell break loose. So Perret Jerry is healthy. I think you see a totally different defensive line in terms of production. Now, if you want to talk just defensive end, there are some guys on the roster who can get it done and have proved they can get it done. Chauncey Davis was re-signed before last season, a veteran player who can play the run as well as the pass at defensive end. And let's go ahead and throw Corey Bierman's name out there too. Don't sell the guy short. 4 sacks, a vital player on special teams, and a person who really got in rotationally toward the end of the year. And then you got Lawrence Sidbury entering his second year. Both those guys drafted by this regime of Dimitroff and Smith. So don't rule those guys out yet as to what they might bring as they continue to develop. Next question, do you see the Falcons making any more moves in free agency? Short answer, no. The team actually, so far in this history, this short history, has been one to go ahead and make a move and then just sit back and watch the rest of the market. Not saying the team won't make a move, but considering how big of a splash the Dante Robinson move is, and considering how the entire free agency market, as of March 15th, again today, has died, has really slowed down dramatically, I could see the Falcons and the rest of the NFL just taking a step back and saying, okay, let's let this second round really simmer down, and then if there's a need, a player that may come available, or a player that the team thinks they can get for a good value, they may go ahead and move. But I think in the NFL as a whole, you've seen a lot of the big splash in free agency pretty much done for 2010. Next question. We got Dante, but if Brian Williams doesn't come back on time or gets hurt on our depth chart, our depth is still a little thin at corner. What's the chance we still go cornerback in the first round? It's a good question. The team re-signed Brian Williams, veteran player. I think one key to keep in mind with Brian Williams is that he can play just about any position in the secondary. He can play a little safety, he can play a little nickel back. He played outside at corner in the early part of 2009. So if he's not there fully, I think you lean back on the guys who finished the year for you. Christopher Owens and Brent Grimes played extremely well down the stretch as your starting cornerbacks. Now, when you get to the draft, however, that number 19 pick again, who's there? If it's a corner that fits your need perfectly and he's number one on your board, I think you go ahead and take him. But the move to get Dante Robinson, re-signing Brian Williams, right now the team is doing its due diligence to secure the players that have worked now or players they know now will fit their term, proven players. So we'll have to see what the draft holds. But again, don't rule out Brent Grimes, don't rule out Christopher Owens as players who have experience in this system and have played well. Another cornerback question. Hey, J. Mike, how do you feel it'll help us having new DBs coach Tim Lewis? Our secondary seems to always be around the ball but never making the play the team, quote, the term, quote, just needed to be coached up seems to apply. Remember the air quotes there. I'll tell you what, I really like Tim Lewis, and you can go back and read my story I wrote on him on AtlantaFalcons.com last month. Guy who knows this system. Sounds kind of weird, but he was trained along with Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis goes to Baltimore, trains Coach Mike Smith and Jack Del Rio on that Baltimore staff. They go to Jacksonville. Tim Lewis even had some experience with another part of that tree in Carolina. So even though he's mostly a 3-4 guy, at least early on in his experience, this system is similar. It comes from that same coaching tree. So I think that was definitely in mind when Mike Smith hired him. And you obviously want to hire guys who can make your team better. So in that case, yeah, he'll make the team better. We'll go ahead here. Quick question. Are the Falcons going to probably work out Brandon Graham? I won't be reporting on private workouts. However, you can check in the media. They'll see Atlanta Falcons or the AJC. Different instances will maybe catch wind and report on something like that. You won't see it very often because teams don't report it, and it's something they want to keep secret, and it's something they keep very close to the vest. Next question. State of contract talks with Harvey Dahl and Tyson Claypo. Any word they're going to get locked up with long-term deals? Well, in this new age here, a year without a salary cap, you really don't have to right away. Reports are out there the team extended a tender offer because they are restricted free agents, so it's a little bit easier to hold on to their rights with that tender and not a long-term deal. So I haven't read any reports about long-term deals. It's not out of the question, but you really don't need to worry about that right now, at least for 2010. The Falcons have any intention of trading multiple picks in order to move up to make sure they get the player they need? Well, you don't really have the firepower right now. When compensatory picks come out, you can't trade a compensatory pick, which is awarded based on free agency losses from the last year, but it does make you maybe feel a little better about the picks you do have and what you could trade in to get. I see this first round, because the draft is so deep, one where teams may want to trade back. That's where the Falcons may find a trading partner. Again, my opinion, just looking at the draft and how deep it is. Next question. Great move with Dante Robinson. Is there any possibility Atlanta can pick up a veteran wide receiver or a sleeper in the draft? And it goes on to list out some names here. Well, wide receiver is one of those positions where it's tough to draft a guy in the first round. Look at the Tennessee Titans, how they've avoided that for so long, drafting a receiver in the first round. They finally got one last year in Kenny Britt, but it's so hard to get that dynamic player, especially 19 and below. So first round, not really sure unless there's, again, that guy the team really likes on the board. But again, I want to caution people, look at what the team has right now. You have Eric Weems, we'll start from the back end of the depth chart up, guy who got some valuable experience on special teams and as a receiver. You got Harry Douglas coming back, and you got Mike Jenkins, who was signed to a long-term deal the year before, and Roddy White, who's a Pro Bowler for 2 straight years. So you've got some talent there. I think, though, if there is going to be some addition there, it would be later in the draft. Last question, why don't the Falcons list info about free agent scheduled visits? Real quick, I'm running out of time. Same reason with the draft. You don't want to reveal your secrets. So on AtlantaFalcons.com, there won't be listings of that. And most teams around the league won't really reveal that unless it's a big splash guy. The Falcons did that with Dante Robinson. Thanks for your questions. We'll catch you later.